Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. It feels like a Monday. I know it probably feels like a Monday to you, and I just want everybody to know out there in Bulldog Nation, I have Radio Superbity on tap, ready to deliver to you. We're going to have to move fast to get it all in. But I get a lot of compliments and a lot of feedback from many of you that you love the pace. By the way, that pace is important to me because I hate when I'm listening to talk radio and it drags. First, I want to get rid of the elephant in the room, as the cliche goes, and that's my Ohio law license suspension. This has absolutely zero to do with anything in Ohio. All it is the Ohio accepts what's called reciprocity on the Kentucky suspension. It's like a driver's license where states have reciprocity. I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for saying that I disagree with it, that I think it should be reviewed fresh, but I'm tired of fighting these rules, which the rules are the rules. I mean, it's reciprocity. Ohio Supreme Court says you got to serve 61-day suspension. Let me see. Started Friday, 60. I think I'm down to 58 days, TC. So I'm down to 58 days. The other thing I want to stress, yeah, I mean, I'm used to it because I've had to endure it in Kentucky, and I've been doing it in Kentucky much longer, respectfully, what I thought I should have to deal with. But anyway, the good news is the Character and Fitness Committee recommended my reinstatement, as you know, in Kentucky, and I have a hearing before the Board of Governors on June 5th. And, you know, I can't fathom any reason why the Board of Governors is not going to adopt the recommendation from Character and Fitness, because Character and Fitness is the committee that is supposed to review to recommend the reinstatement. So they did their job. That's what they're supposed to do. And I'm very confident that the Board of Governors will accept that. Also, the Supreme Court, I have learned, is in session the next day because the Kentucky Bar Convention is in session on June 6th. So I'm hoping if the Board of Governors recommends my reinstatement, that they will deliver that immediately to the Kentucky Supreme Court. And I'm hoping that by the end of June 6th, I'm back in action in Kentucky. Until then, I'm going to mind my P's and Q's, walk the straight and narrow. I will never, ever, ever, on these radio airwaves, ever, 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 say another disparaging word or a comment that can even be interpreted as such about a judge or a lawyer. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. You know, I can be the Bulldog without talking about judges and lawyers. Okay. First, TC, how was your Memorial Day weekend? Well, I had a great Memorial Day weekend, and I'm going to share some of that, including coming up at 8:05, about how I spent my Sunday and Monday morning in the hayfield in 90-degree heat, just like the good old days. You're going to love this stuff, TC. Have you ever put in hay? I know you're hard working. Yeah, I mean, my son and my stepson, for example, helped for the first time, and they liked the physical nature of the work. We have some big news. Figure Weight Loss will be promoting their business beginning Friday. Every Monday at 8:30 a.m., Dr. Greg Weckenbrock, their medical director, will call in and talk about the program. It's funny, I got an email from Steve Jarnicki. He says, now only talk about this program with him. And I kind of thought to myself, Steve, I have found that people like Dr. Weckenbrock, Dr. Kurtzman, they like talking about other things, do they not, TC? I know, but we're gonna talk about their business. But I guess I'm not allowed to ask Dr. Greg Weckenbrock. So what do you think about the Reds? Anyway, also Bulldog. By the way, I'm on the program, and this is hilarious because I worked in the hay 2 straight days, and I started working out anyway. I've lost 9 pounds already. I'm going to look in this camera in about 60 days, and I'm going to go from 223 to about 183, and I'm going to look like the Bulldog MMA fighter I once was. What are we going to do to get the women fans? You know, we're going to have to, it's bad enough coming in here in the mornings. What are we going to do when I get down to 183 to keep the female fans away? All right. We want to honor a soldier. This is on my newsletter and my blog today, and it's an incredible newsletter and blog today. Great information, great stuff. Brenda Ferris, who's a client of mine, has a son deployed in Afghanistan. And she sent me an email message, and I have posted Robert's information, how we can mail something to him. I'm going to send something to him. But it's great. And we're also going to post a picture. But I'm going to kind of adopt Robbie Ferris. And he's over in Afghanistan. He's only right outside of Kabul. How come I can never say that word? It drives me nuts. Kabul. I mean, drives me nuts. I always mess up that word, butcher that word. Also, special guest Friday. You're going to love this, TC. My good buddy, Steve Markovich, wrote a book and developed a plan which makes housework an aerobic event. It's called Aerobic House Cleaning Lifestyle. It's hilarious. I can't wait to get him on air. The ladies will love it. How to be fit while you do housework. Today in history, the first Indy 500 ran. The U.S. 1st Marine Division conquered Shuri Castle, Okinawa. And how about this? Edmund Hillary, who Hillary Clinton was not named after, and who was that other guy that was with him? Begins with an N. Anyway, Norgay, no. It gets Norgay. Are the first to reach the Everest of summit. I have no absolutely desire to climb mountains, do you? Columbia Records fired President Clive Davis, I didn't know this, in '73 for misappropriating $100,000 in funds. And then he began Arista Records, maybe with the $100,000 in funds, Arista, and he signed Whitney Houston.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't know this. In 1980, Larry Bird actually beat Magic Johnson for the NBA Rookie of the Year. How do you like that? Patrick Henry denounced the Stamp Act before the Virginia House of Burgesses. We're going to play that. We recorded it. Wisconsin in 1848 became the 30th state. And in 1917, there was a birth, which we're going to cover in birthdays, which is incredible. And we'll do that right now. Today, this is an incredible day for birthdays. Forgotten history, 2004. World War II memorial dedicated in D.C. Melissa Etheridge, 51. Annette Benning, 54. Bob Hope would have been 1,063 years old today. Bob Hope, President John F. Kennedy's birthday. Great quotes from President JFK. And then how about this? My hero, founding father Patrick Henry. Hope Kennedy Henry. Those are some birthdays. Sandra Report, Navy hospitalman Eric D. Warren from Shawnee, Oklahoma, died in wounds in Afghanistan from an improvised explosive device. I hate that word. And we also want to report that Corporal Keaton G. Coffey, 22 of Boring, Oregon, and Private Cale Miller, 23 of Overland Park, Kansas, Petty Officer First Class Ryan Wilson, 26 of Shasta. All of those, we reported their deaths over the weekend because we do our blog and newsletter every day, and I just want to honor them. God bless our military men and women. And of course, it was Memorial Day, so it's even more just tough. Wall Street Journal had a story about a Keith Doc Benson who actually tried to save the life of somebody, and he didn't, and he took his own life. Sad, sad, sad. I tell you right now, bring them home. Don't you agree, TC? What parade was that? There's nothing like a marching band. Before a football game, in a parade, I love it. Hot, hot, hot. Jack Wagons, the Pope's butler. The Pope's butler, TC, stole He was arrested for stealing documents. If you're the Pope's butler and you steal documents, do you go straight to hell? I don't know, man. And Chris Hayes from MSNBC said he felt uncomfortable calling dead soldiers heroes. No kidding. No kidding. When we come back, we're going to have some pop culture for you on Real Talk 1160. This is Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. I'm a clean white boy. Yeah. Pop culture, folks. Lots to report. Lots to report. Got a lot of first-hand reports, actually. Keira Knightley, engaged. Taken off the market, folks. The Huffington Post reported on a book about Obama pot smoking in Hawaii, which is funny. When you were with Barry and his pals, if you exhaled precious pakalolo, it's Hawaiian slang for marijuana, meaning numbing tobacco, instead of absorbing it fully into your lungs, you were assessed a penalty and your turn was skipped the next time the joint came around. By the way, guys, I don't care that Barack Obama smoked pot. It's just a funny image to see Barack Obama sitting in a joint circle. Hey, man, you know what I mean? It's kind of funny. Right. The best U.S. beach, according to the Associated Press, is San Diego's Coronado Beach. It's been voted the best beach in the USA. I have no idea what the standards were. Of all the beaches in the United States that I've been to, I have a hard time believing you can beat the white beaches of Sarasota. I'm just saying. All right, you hear about that picture that Bill Clinton took with the porn stars? And apparently he didn't know that they were. But anyway, this is what the lady says. So we end up wandering by, and we were going to approach him, take a picture, and his Secret Service sort of kind of brushed us away, and we were walking away. Bill actually had the Secret Service guy call us back and come over and hang out and take pictures and stuff. He's really, really sweet. I just told him that I loved him. I thought he was a great president, and he just kind of winked and smiled and gave us hugs and stuff. Bill. Oh, Hillary's gonna kill you, Bill. I know, hugs and stuff. And he's sweet, and he loved it, and he winked. Oh, my God. Right. Yep. He's suave. It's kind of like meeting Dr. Kurtzman, man. Just suave. Movie reviews. I have a whole bunch, personal movie reviews for you. There's a movie out called Bernie, and Jack Black plays a small Texas town mortician who woos the old ladies, the rich old ladies. And although it's a true story about murder, it is hilarious. It's showing down at Newport on the Levee and other places, I think. Go see Bernie. It is hilarious. They tell it kind of like a documentary. It's not a documentary, but they act like it is. Funny. Red Tails. I watched it on DirecTV, much better than I thought and I heard it to be. I really enjoyed Red Tails. One for the Money with Katherine Heigl. Plays a woman desperate for a job. She becomes a bail jumper retriever, kind of like the dog. And her first assignment is her old flame from high school. Great fun. Men in Black 3. Went and saw this late yesterday afternoon with the wife. Better movie than expected. Lots of fun. Great ending. I mean, I didn't want to go see it really, but there was, we had seen. It's the only movie out that we hadn't seen that she wanted to see or that she would see. But I'm telling you right now, it was great. We both really, really enjoyed it. The ending of Men in Black 3 is great. And then Avengers is probably still number one. Really? Men in Black had to have been the one to bump it. Hatfields and McCoys. Last night on the History Channel, and it's on for 2 more nights. Incredible. Let me see here. Kevin Costner plays the main Hatfield. I think his name was Ance Hatfield. They called him Devil, Ance Hatfield. And Bill Paxton, is it Paxton? He plays McCoy. One thing that they portray in this, it's great acting, great scenery. They actually filmed this in Romania, folks, and in Transylvania. And apparently that's the set of Cold Mountain was. So they filmed this in Romania. Is that unbelievable? Hatfields and McCoy between West Virginia and Kentucky battle. And they filmed it in Romania. But I'm telling you, it is great stuff. And what you envision, what you see from this movie, is that it looks like the McCoy was the main aggressor. I mean, they portray Devil Anse Hatfield as like really not wanting to go down this road. And McCoy was, for lack of a better word, was a goofball. By the way, I have the numbers here. Yes, Men in Black took in $70 million, did knock off Avengers. But get this, Avengers still made $46 million in its fourth weekend. $46 million. I mean, that's only $23 million under Men in Black 3 in their opening weekend. Let me see what else. Justin Bieber is being questioned by Los Angeles County Sheriff's investigators after a photographer complained of being roughed up by the pop star. Are you kidding me? See what happens when you hang out with Holyfield? Remember, Justin Bieber carried in a van, not Holyfield. Oh God, I can't believe Mayweather. Can't believe I said Holyfield. Mayweather. Yeah, he carried in Mayweather's belts in Mayweather's last fight. Yeah. The WCPO Channel 9 reports that celebrity auctioneer Darian Julian will oversee a lot. The tomb of Elvis Presley is going to be auctioned off June 23rd. Is it a tomb that he was supposed to be in and isn't? Opening and closing the vault for burial and memorial inscription and use of a chapel. It's got to be someplace like where he was going to be buried and wasn't. How can they use the place where he's buried? Makes no sense to me. Good question. Good question. In some local news, I don't know if you caught the Saturday Enquirer, but there was a great article about the Arlinghouse family. Ed and Marcella Arlinghouse had 15 children, 5 girls and 10 boys, and all 10 sons lived in the military. I mean, served in the military. Can you imagine 10 sons served in the military? That's incredible. And they all came home. Also in Saturday's newspaper, this was hilarious. Children's Hospital CEO, he retired in 2009. They paid him $4.2 million in 2010, the year after he retired. Mr. Anderson got $4.2 million the year after he retired. I don't know, but I want to be a CEO of a local hospital. If you are on the board of trustees or directors of a Greater Cincinnati hospital and you would like a hardworking lawyer to be your CEO, I'm available. Can you imagine $4.2 million for a year you didn't work? Good golly, crazy. Let me see. In legal news, there's reports. This is more fun. That a juror has been flirting with John Edwards. She apparently instigates the exchanges. She smiles. He smiles back. She giggles. He blushes. Oh, my God. All right. I never have. This is the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Sunshine shining.
So a juror's been flirting with John Edwards, huh?
One has.
Now, if you're John Edwards, whose deliberation, the jury's been deliberating for, what, a week now?
Yes.
You're a little nervous, you're sweating bullets. You don't want to make any of those jurors angry. So you kind of have to flirt back, don't you?
Yes.
I mean,
if you're John Edwards, you're doing anything. Let me give you what's going to happen in this John Edwards case.
Okay.
This is the following things that are going to happen. A, John Edwards will be found not guilty. B, there will be a hung jury. I predict, if I have to predict, I will predict a hung jury based upon the length of the deliberations. Or, obviously, the third thing is that they could convict him. However, if they convict him,
I think that he will not go to jail for very long. Furthermore, he'll be allowed out on bond pending an appeal, and I predict he will win the appeal. Did you know that the Federal Election Commission cleared them on all of this? How can something not be in violation of the Federal Election Commission and then be a crime?
Yeah, so why are we still having
it's incredible.
a trial?
This is a ridiculous prosecution. The guy made a fool of himself. He was nationally embarrassed. Yeah. His wife died of cancer. He lost the election. His life's a wreck. Well, let's put him in jail too for some, cover up of his affair.
Right.
Makes no sense.
No. But so he was the federal people said, "No, you're all right."
Yeah.
But they still want to have a trial.
The Federal Election Commission said fine, but the United States Attorney's Office said let's prosecute.
I say slap a fine on him.
Speaking of waste of time trials, Roger Clemens. Now, can you imagine how ridiculous this is? A needle stored in a beer can appeared to contain an extremely tiny amount of Roger Clemens' DNA. Well, who cares? Needle with what in a beer? I mean, how incredible. A jury has got to be sitting there thinking to themselves, are you kidding me? And I'm sure Roger Clemens' lawyer, Rusty Hardin, he's saying, uh-huh.
Now, where'd they find a beer can with a needle in it?
His trainer kept it in a beer can.
Oh, okay.
Boy, that's a nice place to do it.
Yeah. Never trust a trainer or a mistress.
Newport Beach, California has slapped the Obama for America campaign with a bill of $35,000 representing the cost of extra police officers, reserve officers, and overtime pay that the city contributed to the president's visit in February of the year. Good for them.
What? Wait a minute. The president comes to town, and how does that normally work when the president comes to town? Who pays for security detail?
I have no idea.
Because, every president does.
I look at it this way. If he was there as a campaign bit, I say bill him.
Okay, all right. What was his purpose there? Do we have any information on that?
No.
I mean, was he just there to talk about?
I have no information on it. Did you hear about his Freudian slip a couple times?
What's that?
This is kind of interesting. In two campaign speeches over the last few days, President Barack Obama has twice mistakenly mentioned my sons when defending his administration's regulations requiring virtually all health care plans in the United States to provide women without any fees or copay with sterilizations and all Food and Drug Administration approved contraceptives, including those that can cause abortions. TC, you want to start a rumor?
Why not?
Does the president have sons that we don't know about?
That's a pretty big Freudian slip. I mean, obviously he has daughters.
Sons, daughters.
I think we know the difference between boys and girls.
That's pretty wild.
That is. Maybe he was smoking that wacky tobacco.
I'd forgot this in the local news, and I think it's worth mentioning. According to the 2012 May Nielsen ratings, more people watch Local 12 News than any other Cincinnati news. Local 12 at 11 had more viewers than all the other 11 newscasts combined.
Really?
How do you like that?
But Fox 19 was number one at 10.
Darn right. Cincinnati police on Saturday charged Marquita Birch, 26, after she reported 1-year-old William Cunningham missing Friday afternoon and later recanted her story. She had been babysitting the toddler Friday at the City Heights Public Housing Complex in Covington, said Sergeant Gary Connor, Homicide Unit Supervisor. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I may be on CNN tonight. They wanted a talk show host from Real Talk 1160 to be available to comment on that story. So I might be on Nancy Grace tonight.
Uh-oh. Of all the shows on CNN.
Is that not hilarious? Hello, Nancy. You ready to rumble?
Now, don't look her straight in the face. You might turn to stone.
What's really funny is I was very honest with this producer. I said, I just want you to know that I'm currently under suspension in Kentucky. So I'm not going to give any legal advice. but I can just give you talk show host fodder.
There you go. There you go.
See,
Dance around that.
I think Nancy Grace might be in the conspiracy to get me to mess up.
Yeah. She thinks everyone's guilty.
She thinks everyone's guilty and everyone should go to jail.
Yeah, yeah.
TC, I got some life observations I'd like to share, which are fun. I watched the Canadian Hockey League game for a little bit on Saturday night, and one of the teams, their name was called, and I am not making this up, the Cataracts, with an E on the end of it, the Cataracts. I found out that it's not an eye disease, but a cataract can also be a waterfall, and I think there's also an Indian tribe. But can you imagine they name their team the Cataracts? I say, why not go ahead and call yourself the Tumors or something like that? Oh. Hi, we're the Tumors. I mean, the Cataracts. Now, they had to know about cataracts.
Right.
So why would you name your team the Cataracts?
Oh, you know those Canadian people, they're so crazy.
And their hockey jersey had a big old eye disease looking thing on it.
Oh.
No, I'm just teasing.
Sponsored by Visine.
It had an Indian. Hey, I had a fun encounter with a couple fans Sunday, TC.
Yeah.
These are the kind of things that make you soldier on. I was coming out of my Independence office on Sunday, and this was hilarious. A couple pulls up, about in their 50s, and they pull up right next to my truck when I was in my truck.
Yeah.
And they said, are you the Bulldog? I said, yeah. I'm thinking, oh, my God, what are they going to ask? He goes, we just wanted to look at you. I said, what?
Oh, whoa.
He said, well, you're kind of a pretty big deal. We just wanted to look at you. Say we saw you. I said, well, thank you very much. I found out that they lived in northern Kentucky. They were on a drive. And their last name was McClafferty. Good Irish stock.
Yeah.
That kind of was funny. Also, this is an...
Now, wait. What? You're driving your truck?
No, I'm just sitting in my parking lot.
Okay, but...
I just got in to leave.
With the Bulldog logo
With the Bulldog logo on it.
Okay.
Yep.
The next time someone pulls up and says, are you the Bulldog? Say, no, I just stole his truck.
That's a great witty thing to do. I'll do that.
I mean, who else is going to be driving Bulldog except Riley?
I love that. I'll just say I stole his truck.
Yeah, I don't know. I never met the guy. I just hot-wired it and took off.
Have you ever heard me, TC, in the news say no comment when called by the press?
No, I have not.
Because I never do.
You always have a comment.
I always got a comment. 5, 9, 12, and 19 none of them called me for a comment on Friday about the Ohio suspension deal. And I sent an email all of them Saturday. And only one station contacted me and offered a camera interview, which was WCPO Channel 9. Not even a response from the others. So Channel 9 is my new favorite news station.
Because they stroked you?
Well, because they did the right thing. They said, hey, we're sorry, let's do something. 5, 9, and 19 didn't do anything.
They all called me.
Did they all call you?
Yeah, they wanted to get the backstory.
The backstory.
I didn't.
Did you tell them?
I didn't let any skeletons out of the closet. Trust me, they tried. They bribed me.
And by the way, I want to really thank the radio station, particularly our owner John Yinger, who is completely supportive of me. I mean, you know, it makes you feel good to say, Bulldog. You know.
Yeah.
This is another funny story. On Friday, I went to a courthouse. I'm not going to tell you what courthouse. I can only tell you it was not on legal business or for any client. I wasn't practicing law, but I had to go to the courthouse. These deputies were hilarious. They're friendly. They're my buddies. They said, Bulldog, we are not letting you in unless you show us your law license.
Must have been in Ohio.
It was so funny. I can't wait. When I get reinstated, I'm going to carry my law license with me and show it to them guys. I can't wait to go down there and say, look, I got my law license.
Got it.
Got a funny dog saying a fan shared with me. One day you will no longer be the big dog. That's always true. Just the old dog. But old dog is better than doggone. I'd agree with that. When we come back, we're going to have some sports. And don't forget, coming up at 8:05, I got a great story about putting up hay on Real Talk 1160.
Remember, you can listen to Real Talk 1160 online. Just go to realtalk1160.com and click on Listen Live. And you can catch everything we do all day long right here on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
TC, do you have a favorite actress?
A favorite actress? Not a favorite, no.
Favorite actor?
I never thought of it. No, I guess I don't. I like Jack Nicholson. Jack's always been in the top 5, I'd say.
Jack Nicholson is great.
Yeah.
I have a crush on some actresses. I got a crush on Julia Ormond, a crush on Marissa Tomei.
Okay, yeah.
A crush on Kate Beckinsale.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have any crushes on any of them besides Robin Meade?
No, she's it. She's the one for me. She just doesn't know it yet.
All right, here we go with sports.
Da 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 da.
It appears that Kevin Youkilis is on the trade block.
Uh-oh.
The Reds could use a third baseman. He's from Cincinnati. Match made in heaven. Sunday, because if you didn't know this, the Reds beat the Rockies, but yesterday they stumbled against Pittsburgh 4-1.
It was the heat.
Man, this James McDonald just shut them down. They go at it against the Pirates again at 7:05. Red starter Homer Bailey, Pirate starter Charlie Morton. Sunday's game, the Spurs beat the Thunder 101-98. I think they play again tonight. The Heat kicked the Celtics' butt 93-79 last night, and I think the Heat's going to make short work of the Celtics. I like the Celtics, but they've gotten old. It's just the way it is. NHL Wednesday, the beginning of the NHL playoffs championship, Stanley Cup, Kings versus the Devils at 8. The Kings have only lost one game, I believe, in the playoffs. I mean, they are just kicking everybody's butt. And I'm sure you know this by now, but if you did not, Dario Franchetti, who is Ashley Judd's husband, won the Indianapolis 500 for the third time. There was a crash on the last lap, and guess what? There was like 30 lead changes. I mean, it was an exciting Indy 500. Casey Kane won the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte on Sunday. Who cares about tennis? NBC, they face a season ticket shortfall of 3,000, the Colts do, after Peyton Manning departure. Uh-oh.
Whoops. Can you say cha-ching?
Barry Bonds might be working for the San Francisco Giants front office.
Oh, yeah?
Good for him. Phil Mickelson is interested in buying a stake of the San Diego Padres. How you like that? And the Lions' 2011 first-round draft pick, Nick Fairley, was arrested early Sunday morning in Alabama for driving under the influence. Those darn Alabamas.
Guess who else got arrested?
Who else?
Old tennis pro, Jimmy Connors.
What did he get arrested for? How did I miss that?
Oh, he was outside of, the North Carolina game or whatever, and there was some sort of confrontation. Police asked him to move along, and he refused. He was just being belligerent, being ornery, being a bulldog.
Being a bulldog. Some general news. Now, this is really interesting. This caught my eye in the newspaper yesterday. I think it was the New York Times. Was it the Inquirer? I don't know. 45%. I'm going to say this slow so it soaks in. 45% of the 1.6 million vets from Iraq and Afghanistan seek disability benefits. That would be, in my math, about 700,000.
Almost half.
They claim 8 to 9 ailments on average. Now, this is something, it's kind of weird how you view things, and I didn't even think about that. First of all, there's a better awareness of post-traumatic stress disorder, concussions, and other similar things.
Right.
Also, because of these improvised explosive devices, there are far more devastating injuries. I heard a doctor talk the other day with Oliver North on the news, and this doctor basically said, we are seeing so many more loss of limbs. And get this is interesting. Medicine, including in the field, better and better and better.
Yeah.
So more people survive with devastating injuries as opposed to dying.
Right.
But here is what people aren't thinking of. The cost to the taxpayer, which, by the way, I support this cost of the taxpayer. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. If we can't pay any bills, we got to pay the medical bills for the veterans.
Right.
But just think about 700,000 vets that are going to need medical care for a long part of their life or all their life.
And don't they deserve a better facility than Walter Reed?
Is Walter Reed bad?
Oh, yeah. I've heard stories going back to when George Bush was still
I know
in
a couple
office.
years ago it was bad, and I thought they reformed. I thought they cleaned it up. I mean, there was a report, and it showed how terrible it was, and I thought they reformed it. But you know what, TC? What this makes me so angry.
What's that?
George Bush, Barack Obama, and Congress, because not only have we lost lives, and we've had these struggles, and these soldiers are disabled, and they've lost limbs, and they soak the taxpayer all at once. Why? Because George Bush was mad at Saddam Hussein tried to kill his dad. He's going to go teach Saddam Hussein a lesson. And then we have Afghanistan war, which, okay, we want to get Bin Laden. It doesn't mean we need 90,000 troops there to put down the Taliban, so when we leave, they come back.
Yeah.
I mean, it is the most, and by the way, this is interesting. In the Wall Street Journal over the weekend, or the New York Times one, there was a argument going on between two generals at West Point. One that teaches like sociology or something like that. One who teaches history, I forget. But these two, one general said Afghanistan and Iraq, this counterinsurgency bit has been a complete terrible mistake. And the other one saying, oh, it was okay. Now, I agree with the one that said it was a big mistake.
So do I. I think going after Bin Laden is all that we should have done. I think
bingo.
We made a
and we didn't need troops to do that.
Well, yeah.
How did we end up getting? We got him through intelligence and a SEAL team.
And a Pakistani doctor.
Not 90,000 troops.
And if you think about it, honestly, you're going to hate me when I say this. We should have left Saddam Hussein alone. He was doing us a favor. He was keeping Iraq in check. Iran.
I agree with you 100%. There were not weapons of mass destruction. And by the way, see, when they say, well, we didn't know that, baloney.
Yeah, you did.
We grilled that German engineer, and that German engineer made it all up. And our intelligence people that interviewed him in Germany told our intelligence this is not credible. And that is what they sent Colin Powell off to the UN with. Watch the segment. He references this German engineer that was there.
And did you see that?
And our own intelligence said it was not credible, but Colin Powell is sent out to the UN. And I lost respect for Colin Powell. Colin Powell should have resigned.
Nah, he was like Ollie North. He was a good soldier following orders.
Yeah, but he should have resigned.
But now there was a story on 60 Minutes a few years ago, and they were talking to some intelligence guy, and Saddam Hussein said, yeah, I was bluffing. I didn't have weapons of mass destruction, but I'm Ahmadinejad in my backyard. We hate those guys. Long as they thought that we had weapons of mass destruction, they were going to stay away from us.
Good point.
Yeah. He was our puppet.
I picked this up over the weekend, too, for you, food stamp fraud. Many sell their cards on eBay and Craigslist for cash, then replace them claiming they lost them. A $750 million problem.
Wow. I almost feel guilty now.
Hey, you know what? I want to tell you something. I have friends who've been on food stamps. I've had clients who've been on food stamps, and thank God for food stamps. Food stamps is good because we don't want anybody to go hungry. Food stamps have their purpose. But, man, if you're getting them, you shouldn't commit fraud.
I'll tell you a story. When I was at UD, you could go, and people would have food stamps, would be outside of the grocery store. I won't say which one. They were selling food stamps, 50 cents on the dollar. Now, you're in college. You're not going to take up on that? We all did.
Incredible.
Yeah.
We come back. I'm going to tell you about putting in hay this weekend. Great story to share with you on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, I'm honored to write for the Journal News and the Highland County Press. Roy Ryan is a class act. And I wrote a great story for them. Over the weekend, it all happened on Saturday night. On Saturday night, I received a phone call from my dear old dad, who's, by the way, 82 years old. After a few pleasantries, and I could tell he was going to ask something because he was saying, oh, what are y'all doing? Yeah. My dad never calls up and asks little things like that.
He's setting you up, huh?
There's never any small talk. He then informed me that he had baled 500 bales of hay and needed help early Sunday morning. He's thinking about 7 a.m. exact, to quote-unquote put them up. Now just imagine this, Memorial Day weekend, Saturday, He calls. Sunday, 7 a.m., he needs help. Now, of course, I get up early anyway. If you did not know, hay is mowed by a tractor, then raked in rows by a tractor, then baled by a tractor. Round bales make the entire process mechanized. Cows eat round bales. However, my dad's thoroughbred racehorses need the finest hay, and it's baled in bales, which require men to pick up by stacking on wagons and haul it to the barn where it's unloaded. I provide this simple description for those of you that don't know what the process is. I sent text messages to my underboss, Chuck Holbrook, my son-in-law, Chad, my brother-in-law, Joe. Why? Because they're all hard workers, and I just thought that they would maybe say yes.
None of them got the message, right?
And I also, no. My totally different direction. My son, Parker, who I thought it would be good for him. They all agreed to help.
Really?
My brother Richard, and Richard, a farm worker, also joined us. And by 7 a.m., we were in the field picking up and loading hay bales. In 2 hours, the hay was loaded. On Sunday night, this is the same night that we picked it up the night before. It was Saturday night when he called. On Sunday night at 8 p.m., I see my father's phone number on my cell phone again calling. And I'm going to be very honest. For a moment, I thought, you know why he's calling, don't answer. Of course, I've never not taken my father's call, and I've never not said no to his request, so I answered. He informs me he's baled over 1,000 more bales, twice as many as the previous day. And he not only needed help picking up the hay, but we had to load it on a tractor trailer bound for his Florida horse farm. So now I want to say something. See, when I told him the night before that I had a bunch of help, he didn't work too hard to find another help. So what I did is I told my dad, Dad, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get anybody else, but I'll be there myself. Why? Because I wanted Dad to keep looking for help.
You want to stay in the will.
So I pushed my luck, and I asked the same gang as the day before, and they all agreed. So Chuck, Chad, my son Parker, my brother-in-law Joe Zimmer, all agreed to help again. In addition, Parker brought his friend Dennis, and also my stepson Cameron helped. But because I didn't say anything to my dad, in other words, I brought 7 troops. My brother Jeremy showed up with 2 young men. The farm manager and his son came, and another farmhand showed. So we had a big crew. While one crew unloaded wagons in the trailer, 2 crews were in the field picking up the bales, and we had the job complete in 2 hours. By the way, my wife and my children were in awe when I explained to them that many, many summer days, I would work from 7 a.m. to the end of the day, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night doing this, not just for 2 hours. And I'd like to share a few lessons and anecdotes with you from this experience, which at the age of 49, I still partake in, as I have since I was 8 years old rolling hay bales to the wagon. This is important for you to learn the lessons from the hayfield. Number 1, you honor your father by never saying no. Unless he might ask you to rob a bank or something, you might say no. But other than that, you should always say yes to your dear old dad.
Well, as long as it's not the Bank of Kentucky, it's okay.
Right. Even if you grumble, you can be like the son in Jesus' parable in Matthew about the 2 sons. I love this story. One said no, and he went to the vineyard anyway. And one said yes and didn't go. And, of course, we all know no but go was the better son.
Right.
So even though I grumbled, I still went. Other lesson, number 3, everyone is equal in a hayfield in the eyes of the hay. And I want you all to know the fact that I'm a lawyer, it doesn't make any difference. Oh, wait a minute, I used to be a lawyer. Little humor there. Yet it doesn't mean some can't shine by throwing more hay. I call it egalitarian individualism. Big word. But the bottom line is, of course, you're all equal in the hayfield, but some people can throw more hay than others. Lesson number 4. The hay and heat humble you. So does the age. After stacking several loads, I had no problem joining my father as one of the tractor drivers. He's 82, so he has an excuse. At 49, I had to accept that I'm no longer a spring chicken. I thought I was going to die. Number 5, be prepared. We took gloves, water, and Gatorade for everyone, and we drank it all. Number 6, be a Marine. When we arrived on Saturday, the tractor wasn't there yet. We took a hitch out of my son-in-law's truck, put it on my truck, hooked it to a wagon, and off we went. We had a load nearly complete when the tractor arrived. We didn't sit around waiting for the tractor. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, if you don't believe these stories, my pictures are on Facebook. Number 7. This was a first for my son and stepson. They loved the physical nature of the work. Their character grew. They want to do it again. And let me tell you something, folks. Putting up hay on a hot day is as good of a male bonding experience as you can find. Number 8. If you call someone to help put in hay and they say yes, they are a great friend. I'd say the same thing if someone says yes to helping you move. Putting in hay and helping somebody move. So, I mean, I'm serious because somebody calls you up and helps you put in hay. And on Sunday and Monday, Memorial Day weekend. Number 9, I lost 9 pounds Friday to Tuesday on my new diet. Thank you, hay. Hay is great cross-training. And number 10, last but not least, you receive a nice tan on your face and head while you are working and exercising at the same time. How do you beat that? How you like my tan head, TC?
Always use sunscreen.
I did use sunscreen.
Good.
I sprayed number 30 on. In fact, I took it to the field with me, and in between loads, I'd spray it on some more. And then it started sweating down in my eyes, and oh, my God, it was bad. I had to use the back of Chuck's shirt to get it out of my eyes.
Did he know?
Yes.
Okay.
I said, because I was the only dry things on our bodies was the very bottom back of our shirts. Everything else was soaking wet. So, TC, I hope you and everybody else in Bulldog Nation had a great Memorial Day weekend. I spent mine in the hayfield, but it keeps you humble.
I can see that.
See, one of the things I can tell you, this isn't BS. When I talk about understanding the blue-collar guy,
right,
I do.
You're right, though. It's not BS, but that hay is the first stage of it.
Very good, TC. You know, you just find humor in everything, don't you?
I have to. Life is depressing enough as it is.
It is.
You gotta laugh.
It is. But I tell you right now, putting in hay in 90-degree heat, holy cow.
You've got my respect.
But how can you ever? But see, I've dug ditches, I've dug fence posts, I put in hay. So if you're out there working hard today the blue collar way, the Bulldog does not think he's superior to you. I can feel your pain and I respect you. MSNBC's Chris Hayes sparked controversy debate on Sunday when he said he felt uncomfortable calling soldiers killed in action heroes because the term can be used to justify potentially unjust wars. He later apologized for the statement. I mean, that's a statement that I don't even know how it ever comes out of your mouth.
You know something, though? His reasoning was wrong, but I remember a few months back, Sensible Don said something. He said, these guys are not heroes. That's what they're paid to do. I hope he's listening and calls us in and he can expand on that a little bit more, but his thought is that's their job. That's what they're paid to do. By
the way, I've had some text exchanges, some nice text exchanges, the old Sensible Don.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. He's working every day.
Yeah.
Chicago Badlands, you know, our president was a community organizer.
Yes.
I'm not making this up, TC. 25 people were shot overnight Saturday in Chicago alone. No arrests made. Now, TC, I got to ask you this question. Can you imagine? Now, Chicago is the third largest city in the country. Cincinnati's the 33rd. Can you imagine, though, if 25 people or 10 people were shot overnight here in Cincinnati?
And no suspects? No arrests?
We come back. We'll discuss this further on Real Talk 1160.
Mike Huckabee, fresh off of his Memorial Day weekend. You can hear his Huckabee report coming up at 8:30, about 11 minutes from now, on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. I would say, okay, if Cincinnati's the third the size of Chicago, if we had 8 people shot overnight, I think this city would be in a complete state of shock. What do you know? What do you know? Chicago. They need some community organizers out there to organize those hoods.
Was there some sort of riot going on, or were these just 25 separate random
Man. Gang stuff, man.
It's not
I
good.
assume. It's
That's
not
not
good.
good.
It's not good at all.
What is Rahm Emanuel doing?
Yeah, come on, Rom.
Get on it. He needs to talk to Oprah. Oprah
You know
can help them out.
the boss, starring. What's that guy's name? Oh, I can't believe I can't think.
Oprah
of his.
Winfrey.
Frasier. Who's the guy that played Frasier?
Oh, I know you're talking about him.
He plays the boss on that Stars. He'd got it cleaned up. He
Yeah.
plays the mayor of Chicago in that.
Kelsey Grammer.
Kelsey Grammer. He'd clean it up.
Yeah, he would.
Let me see. U.S. airline travelers, 513 guns have been found this year at security checkpoints. On some passengers say they simply forgot they had a gun in their bag.
Wait. Who packed the bag? Forgot all about that thing.
Oh, my God.
How'd that get in there?
That's messed up, man.
Smith, Wesson, get out.
Hey, how about this? Bulldog Nation member Ryan,
Yeah.
he's a good guy.
Okay.
He's kind of Bulldog kind of guy. In fact, Ryan, you don't know this, but I almost texted you to come help put in hay. But you know what, Ryan? This is so funny. Ryan is a Cubs fan. And he sent me a picture last week, or the week before. On his birthday, his wife even got him a Cubs birthday cake. That's how big of a Cubs fan he is.
Oh, yeah.
The Cubs lost 12 in a row.
They're better than the Bengals.
Until they won yesterday, I think. Ryan, I am sorry that you chose to support the Cubs.
Did you hear about the deal with the Cubs and the GOAT?
Yeah.
What's bizarre.
It's bizarre. It's like the curse of the Bambino the Red Sox had to put behind them.
Yeah.
The curse of the GOAT. You know, that was on Saturday Night Live. They did a skit with that with John Palucci, if I remember.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Cheeseburger. Get this. This is so sad. Diane Tron, honor student at Texas High School, jailed for missing school. And this is from Houston. The Willis High School junior, who helped support two siblings, has both a full-time and part-time job. I don't know if you're going to school full-time. Wow. She said she's often too tired to go to school. You know, God bless her heart, man. I mean, I'm not going to put her in jail. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand about truancy laws and all that.
Right.
But, man, if she's got a full-time job and a part-time job and she's helping, I mean.
They need to be helping her. Where's Child and Family Services?
This is an example, TC. I just don't understand it, man.
That doesn't make sense.
Injustice in the world.
How old is she? She must be under 16?
She's a junior, so you figure 16, 17.
Well, I think at that age, she doesn't have to go to school legally, does she?
I don't know what the rules are in Texas. I do know this. True story. My wife has a friend who lives in Texas that got a DUI. Mm-hmm. Cost them $15,000
You're kidding.
in fines and all that stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, you know, Texas is where they execute you. I mean, Texas, they kind of brag. You know, Rick Perry, man, we're execute. George Bush, we execute. Texas is the last place on earth you want to go commit a crime.
Right.
I mean, I'm serious. I mean, Texas is like, guilty, execute. Guilty, life imprisonment.
You might as well commit a crime in Russia.
Yeah. Don't want to commit crimes in Texas. Now, I'm not saying you should commit a crime anywhere,
Right.
But, I mean, Texas is a little harsh.
Yeah, very.
They just had to pay $2 million for jailing somebody for 26 years for a crime he didn't commit.
There have been a couple of stories out of Texas like that.
Did you see over the weekend, TC, it was kind of like dueling for veterans. You know, Barack Obama went to the one honoring the Vietnam vets. He went to a couple. Mitt Romney's talking about the vets, strong military. They're battling over the veterans votes. I can tell you right now, I think the veterans vote will go Republican just because, in my humble opinion, people don't realize this. The families of all these soldiers over there that have gone 4 and 5 and 6 times, these families, they are proud of their soldiers serving. They respect their soldiers serving. They love America. But they want their soldiers home.
Right. They want them to come back.
They want them home. So in my humble opinion, I just don't see all of these veterans going out and voting for Barack Obama. in light of where we are in Iraq and Afghanistan in these wars, I just don't see it.
Well, and traditionally, isn't it true that most military vote Republican anyway?
Right. And you also have this issue of him giving that movie company access to some confidential things, allegedly, taking credit for the bin Laden attack, when after he said nobody should. I mean, I think he's irritated veterans. But anyway, it was kind of funny to watch them like one up each other. I love veterans. I love veterans more.
I love me more than you do.
I love them to infinity.
They have to. They have to. You can't ignore veterans, especially on Memorial Day.
Right. But it was just kind of, it's like, come on, guys. Pander, pander, pander.
Right. Do whatever you can to get that vote.
Yep. There's apparently a little buzz, about Rob Portman being the running mate, according to Wall Street Journal, for Mitt Romney, simply because they see him as like the unpaling, like, okay, he's plain vanilla, boring, he doesn't hurt him anyway. But I disagree. And by the way, I respect Rob Portman, the Portman family, although I've railed against him a little bit for like NAFTA votes, serving in the Bush administration. But I disagree. I think he hurts him on the energy front. When I say energy, I'm talking about like enthusiasm. Yeah. And people can talk about Palin all they want. Palin revived and resuscitated a very boring, dead John McCain campaign.
Did the best she could, I suppose.
And then, but the other thing is, he was part of the Bush administration, so all Obama's people is going to say, see, he's just picking Bush, and his cabinet will be full of Bush people.
Yeah, now that could hurt Romney. That'll hurt him a lot.
You don't want to do that.
Did you hear Rob Portman was on with Laura Ingraham about, a week and a half ago? And they ended up talking about Cincinnati chili and graters.
Right.
Graters, that's what they talked about.
All right.
It's pretty cool.
She's been here, and she enjoys it.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney today will win Texas, and he will have amassed 1,144. No, he hasn't got there, 1,144, but he's going to be awful close. I wonder if Rick Perry has anything to say about it. Good old Rick Perry. Romney not taking a position on Donald Trump's birth claims. Trump says Obama was born in Kenya, raised in Indonesia. Romney said, while that doesn't agree with all the people who support him, he appreciates their help to get him at least 50.1% of the vote in November. Oh, good golly. Donald Trump. All right, we got a phone call from our buddy Prankster.
Yes.
Prankster, how you doing this morning, buddy?
Just fine. How you doing?
Good.
I think I'd put John Edwards out there with the hay and make him help you guys with the hay.
Good punishment.
And I have another question.
I'll bet you John Edwards, it's been a long time, if ever, that he put a guy that gets $400 haircuts. Generally, you will not find him in a hayfield.
Well, I'd shave his head bald first. But did you call TC and any talk show host that we can't mention to help you too?
I did not call TC because I know he's busy. It's
what
a long drive.
Sensible Don?
I did not call Sensible Don. You know what, those
supervisor? He's too old. He'd have to make him the supervisor.
Sensible Don would have came.
Yeah, but
Willie would be on the golf course, so I'm even going to waste my time asking him.
Yeah, they'd be supervisors as they're a little bit too old.
Every good job though, Prankster, needs a good supervisor. At 49 years old, I might be graduating as supervisor in the hayfield. It was the first time ever, TC, I said, all right, I'll drive the tractor on this one. I thought I was going to die in the heat. We come back, more Superbity on Real Talk 1160. Real Talk 1160. On this Tuesday, I know you've had a tough time getting up and going to work, but we'll help you out a little bit, get you in a good mood. The architect of Cincinnati Spring Grove Cemetery, Adolf Strauch, is our featured Cincinnatian on Legendary Locals. Spring Grove Cemetery, designed in 1854. Our famous Cincinnatian for the day. Here is a very funny joke. Bill Clinton dies and is on his way to hell. By the way, have you ever watched South Park? How they how they show the devil in Saddam Hussein?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
That is
the way they portray the devil with feelings. Bill Clinton dies and is on his way to hell. At hell's gates, he meets Satan. Satan tells Clinton that hell is full. But Clinton will be replacing one of the current inhabitants, and he will be given the choice of who he will replace forever in hell. 3 doors appear before Clinton. The first door opens. Behind it is Newt Gingrich. How come they had to put Newt in hell in this joke? He's being forced to pound big rocks. I'm just teasing. In little rocks. Upon seeing Newt in his predicament, Clinton cringes and says, I feel his pain. I don't think so. The second door opens. Behind it is Ted Kennedy. He is bobbing for automobile parts in a large pool of dirty water.
Oh.
Grimacing at the filthy scene, Clinton says, not for me. The third door opens, and behind it is Ken Starr. He's butt naked and bound hand and foot in a room with Monica Lewinsky. I can handle that, Clinton proclaimed enthusiastically. Very well, says Satan. Monica, you may go. Speaking of South Park.
That is not good for Clinton.
Can you imagine Ken Starr and Bill Clinton locked in a room in hell forever?
I'd like to put that on pay-per-view.
I wonder if they'd become friends. Be like, hey, man, I'm stuck with you forever. Let's become pals now.
Yeah, forget that whole...
I mean, wouldn't you have to just say pal up? I mean, if you're going to spend, like, hell together.
Yeah, forget that impeachment thing. That was just a little thing we did on Earth. Man, forget about that.
Microsoft says I think this is funny. Microsoft says it's appointed Baghdad-based Legend Lands Company to distribute its products in Iraq in what it says is a sign of growth for the war-plagued country.
Well, good.
You know what's it like to be peddling anything in a country like Iraq?
I mean,
buy this Microsoft.
If we could just get electricity, Microsoft would be huge here.
And those of you who are lawyer haters, the largest law firm in the world, New York law firm Dewey and LeBeouf, it's one of the largest. By the way, it was created by a merger just like a few years ago, has filed for bankruptcy protection, a move that marks one of the largest law firm failures in U.S. history.
Too big to fail?
See, even law firms can fail.
You couldn't find enough people to sue? Or not enough litigation?
No, what happened is they screwed up their compensation packages. Like they were giving too much money to certain partners, and the revenues weren't there to support these employment deals that they had given to these partners.
Yeah.
And it all came crashing down. Here's somebody that uses them, the NFL.
Oh, really?
One of their clients, it'll be interesting why they're filing bankruptcy with the NFL keep using him. The NFL is one of their clients.
And you don't think they've got enough business?
Can you imagine the work you get the NFL? What fun work. I represent the NFL.
You think the Bengals alone would keep them in business?
It's like locally, the Taft firm, man. They represent the Bengals. How much fun is that? Dinsmore and Scholl represents the Reds. How much fun is that?
Well, Taft must be
Taft. I wonder if Jerry Jones, the Dallas Cowboys, who's his lawyer? I'd like to be the Cowboys' lawyer.
Yeah, you would. I know you would.
I mentioned before how the Pope's butler was arrested for stealing and leaking documents.
Yeah.
They also fired the Vatican bank chairman. It's tough times in the Vatican, TC.
I suppose. They have a bank chairman at the Vatican?
They have a bank.
The Vatican's like its own country, isn't it?
Its own country, own ambassadors.
Bigger than Disney World.
And you know what? There's more Catholics in the world than any other religious organization. I mean, the Pope, when you think about here's what's very unique about the Vatican, TC, is that he not only has, it's a city-state, its own little country there.
Yeah.
But not only that, but he has people in his flock all over the world.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So he transcends boundaries.
Yes, he does.
And I would guess the most popular place would be Central and South America. I mean, strong Catholic populations. Security experts said on Monday, this is another funny story. Security experts said on Monday, yesterday, a highly sophisticated computer virus is infecting computers in Iran and other Middle East countries and may have been deployed at least 5 years ago to engage in state-sponsored cyber espionage. We can't get anything to work. Our computers have a virus. Oh my gosh!
That's pretty huge, though. I heard that story.
They knocked out the nuclear work of these engineers with the virus. They claim Israel did it to them. How messed up is that you can take a country's infrastructure out with virus? It's scary.
Right. Well, it wasn't just like your average hacker. What I'm hearing is that this had to be a government, a country, because no one else would have the money and the bandwidth. I mean, you're talking about a huge amount of data.
You're not kidding. Huge.
So which country is it?
Here's another, Israel. Here's another, this is from the Drudge. As Greeks prepare to head to the polls once again in 3 weeks, how often do they get the vote? There's another election. They're going to vote. International criticism of the country is intensifying. The IMF, International Monetary Fund head, Christine Lagarde, on Friday said, Greek citizens must begin paying their taxes. How messed up is it they have a tradition of not paying their taxes? Now, by the way, I'm an anti-tax guy. But come on, man, you got to pay some taxes for a government.
Exactly. Now, are they not getting their services? I mean, do they just not want to pay?
It's a tradition. They just don't pay taxes, and nobody enforces it. A member of the German cabinet referred to Greece as a bottomless pit. Now, why do I mention these things? Because I'm going to put them in context. Remember, the Greeks are mad that everybody wants them to work, wants them to pay taxes, wants to give up pensions, not retire at 35. I mean, in all seriousness, it's like 50. I mean, they retire at like 50 years old. I mean, Greece is messed up, and everybody that's trying to help them, the Greeks get mad at them. How dare they tell us to pay our taxes? How dare they tell us to work? How dare they tell us that we got to work till 66?
And what if we cut them off?
Man, we got to cut them. See, the problem is that ripple effect, man. Spain's bank, I saw where Spain just bailed out. Their third largest bank was $6 billion.
Yeah.
Can you imagine $1 billion? Can you imagine what it's like to have $1 billion, TC?
I can't imagine that, nor can I imagine what it's like to lose $1 billion or $6 billion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, on his birthday, I give you Patrick Henry. Eric Deters, the Bulldog. How you like that? Patrick Henry.
Give me liberty. Oh, I'll take a cheeseburger.
By the way, I got to give an Oracle status, too, to my brother Seth. My brother Seth won the Steve McBee Award for Special Olympics. And when I was going to go to the Florence parade, my brother Seth got to ride in his own red convertible car and be a hero in a parade. As my brother that's got cerebral palsy. Let me tell you something. Seth, I would have been there, but our dear old dad had me in the hayfield, so I missed the parade. But my sister Sarah went and took pictures and posted them on Facebook. But it was quite an honor. I'm sure he'll be mad that I didn't go. Of course, my brother's got a crush on my wife. He doesn't care about me. He'll just say, "Where was Mary?" He does. I asked my brother, I said, if something happens to me, are you going to ask Mary to marry? I don't know. I know he will. How do you like that? My brother's got a crush on my wife, TC. How do you handle that?
Well, so
I just laugh it off. But I keep an eye on him.
While you're baling hay, your brother told you that he was going to be participating in the Olympics.
Oh, you're bad. You're bad. But funny. That's funny.
Wait till you see the pictures, just have proof.
When we come back, more Radio Superbity as we wrap this, and I'm going to give you a little talk about attitude. Attitude on Real Talk 1160.
We got Mike Huckabee coming up after Michael Savage at 3 o'clock, and then Real Sports with Wild Man, Rick the Brick, Kevin Couch, and Jeff Fricaro, 5 to 7. See if they can get the Reds back on track this afternoon. Right now, let's get back to the Bulldog.
This is the Bulldog, Eric Deters. You can follow me on Twitter on Bullall. Also, I Facebook. I'm also on RealTalk1160.com. I write for the Highland County Press and the Journal News. I also do a daily blog and newsletter. And you can also, if you've missed any part of the show, you can check it out on podcast or webcast. TC, do you have our feel-good song of the day?
We do.
As we try to get everybody in a good mood in this short work week.
I heard this on Saturday night, and I thought, this is going to be our feel-good song.
Huey Lewis.
Yeah, this one you're going to be singing all day long.
Will it stick in our minds?
It will. Heart and soul. Huey Lewis in the news on Hit Radio 100. Sorry.
Huey looks young.
He was then.
Oh, my goodness.
Great video.
What year was this, TC?
I'm going to say 1983, 84 maybe.
80s. You love your 80s, don't you?
I do. I cut my teeth in the 80s.
Nice haircut on that guy.
The 80s were a bit scary now we look back.
You know what? The 80s were different in the hair department.
Yeah.
Very different in the hair department. But we've recovered.
Yes.
I like hair today.
I'd like to have hair today.
Me too. But, I mean, I like the hairstyles I see. I like the clothes I see. Then again, maybe I liked them all those times.
I miss parachute pants.
We're getting texts. They don't like the feel-good song.
Uh-oh. They don't like the feel-good song?
They don't like the feel-good song.
The females will love the feel-good song.
You know, by the way, because I didn't know what you were going to play, and we had to put something up on my blog, I put up Genesis, oh, God, what's the name of that song? I got to find it here.
Oh, I know it's one. Follow You, Follow Me.
Yes. Yeah. Follow You, Follow Me. Oh, it's a good song, TC.
That's a good song. They don't like this one,
and cold, heart and soul. Well, TC, it's good that we have the feel-good song right before my words of wisdom.
Yes.
You know, I spoke after the 8 o'clock hour about pudding and hay and how it builds character and gets you going. Yesterday, I'm reading a little bit of my Theodore Roosevelt. It's so funny, man. This guy is a man, I mean, I want to emulate TR. I mean, TR was all about doing and not about just talking, but yet he wrote books. He read all the time. He's not very much of a private enterprise guy because he was always in government. You know, he wasn't much of a businessman, although he did get in the ranch business out in South Dakota, and the weather kind of wiped him out. But I'm reading this book, Theodore Roosevelt, CEO, by Alan Axelrod, and, you know, just the life's lesson. It's called Lead the Strenuous Life. And it's just incredible, you know, these quotes from TR and the stories, like when he was shot on October 14th, 1912, and he hit a bullet in him in Milwaukee, and he went and he spoke for 90 minutes anyway. And then he walked to the hospital because he didn't want to be on a stretcher. And they left the bullet in him because at those times, just looking for the bullet would cause an infection. Just ask Garfield, ask McKinley. And he never complained about the bullet, and he carried it with him to his grave. I mean, the guy was, you know, he said, you can't kill a bull moose. And he started out as a wimpy guy. He was a kid. He was a wimp. He had asthma. You know, he had chronic diarrhea. I mean, the guy was, seriously, and he just chose to change his life. And I don't know, man. TR, it kind of makes me mad when Beck picks on him, because if there's any American that we should maybe all try to emulate, is TR. You know, he also drank a gallon of coffee a day.
Good man.
He drank a gallon of coffee. But the reason why I bring this up is I have this hanging on my wall. And many of you have already seen this before, and I took it off my office wall at home to bring it in. And many of you have heard this before. It's not complicated. It's not original, but I want to share it with you, and I'm going to add to it. The longer I live, it's called attitude. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude, to me, is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, or a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude that we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are all in charge of our attitudes. Isn't that great words of wisdom, TC?
Very much, very much.
I mean, because stuff happens to everybody, and you got to have the right attitude.
It's not so much what happens; it's how you recover from it.
Right.
Yep.
And something that's been funny with me with my bar battle is my attitude has been, I've used some humor to deal with some of it. I've used other techniques to deal with it. But my attitude is, you know what? What the heck? It'll all be okay. Soldier on. But what's funny is it's kind of it's weird how some people perceive that. It's almost kind of like they don't want you to have a good attitude about it. They almost want you to sink in despair versus, hey, life's okay. Things are going to be good. It's kind of funny. Some people don't want you to have a good attitude about things, TC.
Well, why not?
I know, because they're negative people.
Yeah.
There's negative people out there, TC.
There are. That is true.
There's haters out there.
Definitely.
But it's all about the attitude. TC, what are you doing for the rest of the day?
Oh, I'm going to be here. We're going to meet with the big boss. Remember, we got that meeting today.
No, it's been changed.
Ooh, again?
Now, listen, I'm not going to criticize anybody, but I want you to know. I was having a conversation this morning with Sarah about this. There are certain peoples, and by the way, TC, you're not one of them.
Okay,
and
I think that's good.
And neither's Rob. No, it's bad. Oh. There are certain people like Brad Amster, me, Chuck Holbrook, Sarah. I can think of some other. Molly Dempsey. There's a lot of people who, when you text them or you call them, you get a response in a reasonable amount of time. And there are others that you text or you call, and you may not get a response for a day. TC, you are one of those people.
When have I not responded?
I called Rob on Sunday, I believe. And I said, Rob, and then I texted him. I said, Rob, I left you a message. And that message is, Rob, if you're listening, you can hear this now. I have a meeting that I have to go to where there's there's 7 people involved in this meeting that I forgot about. So I got to do 10:30 another day this week. I can do 10:30 any day this week, but today I got to travel to a different town. I got to travel to a different town and meet with 7 people who rearranged their schedule to meet with me.
Well,
I guess, and I forgot about it. So listen, on Sunday, I text and I call Rob. I love you, Rob, but I haven't heard no response back.
It's a holiday. He's not working. It's a holiday.
All right, guys.
It's a holiday.
All right.
You can't argue that it's a holiday. It's a holiday. You've blown off the meeting twice already, and now you want to call him blow off again? Forget it. Forget about it.
Members of Bulldog Nation.
I don't want to hear it.
Who puts in hay on Sunday and Memorial Day? A holiday.
You want to stay in the will. That's why you did it.
Work on Memorial Day. Work on Sunday. Work on holidays.
You want to stay on Dad's good side.
Every dog has their day. I hope tomorrow's yours on Real Talk 1160.